Hello everyone, this is Chicago Grit Day 5 Lombard, the Cat 5 race.
We will say, riders ready.
It is a hot dog kind of crit. This first turn here is a little different. You kind of have to treat it as one turn, and it's off camber on this uphill right here. So that is a spot to watch out for, especially in this group of Cat 4 riders who are all really strong, but not many know how to take turns correctly. So I was a bit worried about that corner for us, but thankfully I don't think any bad crashes happened there. I could be wrong, but I didn't see any. That turn on my behalf was pretty bad right there, but I was tired of getting clumped on the inside, and so for these two turns that we have here on this course, I wanted to take almost the most outside line as possible for some of these, even if it wasn't the most optimal at the time, because you could just take so much more speed into these turns. We weren't doing too much braking as a group, but there was still much better turning that we and I could have done. I do know that if you take that line absolutely correctly, you can pedal all the way through it, even when going 30 plus. So the fact that we are going 22 and not pedaling is not the best, but we're learning still. I do not think this left side line here is preferable at all in a normal circumstance. There's these little bump outs that you'll see with the cones that can be a little tricky, and I'm pretty sure the wind is coming straight from the south. The little icon on the bottom right is where the wind is coming from, but I don't have that on the screen when I'm doing this overview. But so you're getting all the wind and you're potentially going into the bump outs, but it seemed like hit the curb there. But it seemed like on many different occasions you can get so much space even just fighting into the wind. You would be able to jump so many spots right there, and so that's what I did to improve later on in this race. see right here in Cat 4 fashion, just everyone clumping up. I've got to be a little bit more decisive with just jumping these when I have the chance. There's such a huge gap that I could have, or not a gap, but such a huge forward progression that I could have made there. I'm still a bit worried that I'm going to make those pushes and then tire out in the last couple of laps, but I can either do that and gamble on a good spot or not, or I can stay in the back anyway. So moving forward, that might just be the solution. Is gamble that early, get in the front so you don't have to keep turning wide like I'm doing here. Right here's another great spot. I could have just shot that left side right there. It closed up just then, but that could have been a spot to get 5, 6, 7 bike lengths up. Fly, man. There's one guy off the front right now. Eventually, I do think that there was a group of 5-ish who are always 2 or 3 seconds in front of the lead group. Those 5 ended up getting caught with 4 or 5 laps left, so they put a lot of work in just for that to not really lead anywhere, because I don't know how any of them did at the end. I like taking this line a little bit wide, even though a much tighter inside line could have been taken at the speeds that we were taking it. I wanted to be able to start pedaling as soon as possible up that hill. Yeah, I opted to get water here as well because I saw several other people, but man, shoot that gap right there. Gain 20 spots. So many opportunities too in this field. You know, 165 cranks probably would be real helpful on that turn where I had to stop pedaling on the apex, but a couple of those guys don't. Here's a good little jump. That guy, 460 right there, he was flicking someone else up, but there really isn't any teams here. There'll be like 2 people occasionally on in the same jersey, but there really isn't any team dynamics going on at this level yet, so I don't know what he was flicking for. I think maybe he's just tired, saying, I'm not going to pull. And so here's where this set of 5 eventually shoots off. 2 more go and catch those group of 3. I decided to just sit behind. The guy in front of me right now ends up winning it all, so if he wasn't worried about it, then I shouldn't be worried about it moving forward. Yeah, that guy cut me off a little bit there. Yeah, I took a much wider line. And that guy's being a little wibbly wobbly right in front of me. And someone's saying, up, go catch him. And he does. This guy puts in a lot of work right now to get us close. I think the effort that he just put in saved them from shooting off the front even more, because they probably had between 5 and 10 second gap right after the hill. But this little effort right here is what made them realize we're not getting away, so they never really got further than that. Yeah, I'm taking these way wide. People are gaining, but I'm happier with doing that instead of just hard braking on the inside corner, which usually happens in these races. There we go. I pedaled through that full turn, or the second half, but making improvements in the middle of a race. And right now I'm not behind anyone either. Well, I get behind this guy now, but with how the wind's moving, the pocket really is just on the left side of people this race. Right here is not the line to take. I am in all of the wind. There really isn't too much drafting going on until I catch this guy right here. But even though being on the train track side of this little section was not, it shouldn't have been ideal, it almost was for our group because that's where all the openings were. I'm still not able to turn as good as these guys are. I haven't done cyclocross ever, but I do plan on doing a lot of that this fall, so I'm hoping that those races have helped me regain the turning confidence I once had. That Manitoba kid is still riding to the pit, maybe? I'm confused at what he's doing. We saw him earlier on the side. There's 2 young Team Manitoba kids. And we'll see right at the end, one of them gets forced into this curb right here. And if it's the same kid that we saw on the side of the road twice, that must just be a sad race to just be watching it the entire time, trying to get back in and just never being able to hop back on that train. Friend who constantly tells me to get 165 cranks, which that'll be a big jump from the 175s I have right now. And I kind of always dismiss that, but seeing how much of a gap these guys are getting on every single turn is kind of making me consider that. But I'm making it back on this one. If I'm only losing 1 or 2 spots on the turn and I'm able to gain 5 or 6 on these straightaways when people slow down, then losing a couple spots each turn really isn't the end of the world. One or 2 guys managed to sneak up to the next group, and there's just a guy who didn't pedal at the same rate that they were, so those 2 got back up. Everyone gets reeled back eventually, but it just sucks seeing that happen. Big dive bomb by the OKCC guy. You couldn't hear it, but there was a couple of people complaining about that right behind me. Saying, oh, he dive bombed. Which, that is really risky on that turn, but he managed to pull it off. And he ends up catching up to that group too, so... There's a point right around now, it might be after this turn, where for a lap, I just lose my legs. Yeah, here it comes right here. I'm gonna drop back 5 or 6 or 10 spots. For whatever reason, there was just no power left. But I end up getting it back in a lap or 2, so I dropped back a decent amount right there, but I could not get over 500 watts for a lap-ish. Momentary fatigue. It's a good thing that our group slows down so much, you don't have to keep pushing. looks like that front group of 5 is just about reeled in at this point. So that was another sigh of relief. Okay, we're not going to have to all push or keep pushing to catch them. The lap right there, you saw that I was at a very low wattage for a bit. I looked back and I don't think there was anyone else behind me at that point, so I am at the back of the main group right now. We haven't had too many drop off, but some had dropped off at this point. This would have been an opportunity to shoot up with no one pedaling, but I was still a bit gassed, so this was a good little recovery section for me. Pedaling through that turn, shame on me. One of the nicest things about the new wheel set I just got, I finally upgraded after having my race bike for a year and a half. I upgraded from the standard DT Swiss tires that come with almost every bike, and I got a real nice set of Super Team deep dish carbon, and I went from having the quietest hub to the loudest hub, so I can very much hear when I'm not pedaling. Even if I didn't have this cadence sensor on my screen, you can hear when I'm not pedaling. I don't know what he was grabbing at there. Here's one of the smarter moves I did. I said, you know what, I'm gonna go push right here. No one else is. I'm in the wind, but I'm only doing, I think I maxed at 400 there. I grabbed another between 5 and 10 wheels. I'll do that 1 or 2 more times on that back end. Now we're playing games here. No one at the front wants to really be the one to go. Three to go. This is where you'll see soon one of the riders that I'm pretty equal in strength with shoots up to the front, and he gives himself a little bit of a gap with, I can't remember if there's 2 or 3 laps to go when he does this, so it might be this lap, might be next lap, but he shoots up, gives himself a little gap, and it was almost the winning move for him. He got caught like right at the end. He took 10th, so he didn't have any energy left when the sprinters came around and caught him, but that was, he's got a little more strength, or if one person joins him, that's the move right there. And he's a guy who hasn't placed top 10 yet in this series, and he almost had the victory, so that might be kind of the game plan moving into these last couple of races, especially with how hot it's going to be. Just make that move a couple early and no one's going to want to chase, but I have to be at the front of the peloton to make that move if I want to do that. And at this point I was a bit nervous. Oh, there's 2 left. I'm still mid-pack. I gotta find a place to improve. But you'll see on this lap, it just happens like instantly at this back half of the lap. There he goes. There goes Joe. And I was somewhat thinking about, I want to go catch him. I think if I was able to, because I'm not doing too much right here. If I shot that and only I caught up to him, that would have been the winning move. But there's a real good chance that, follow him. What am I doing? Follow that guy. Yeah, there's a real good chance that if I catch up to Joe right there, then everyone else catches up. Someone cut me off right there going to that turn. I think he got pushed by someone else as well, so it wasn't his fault, but these last couple of turns are getting a little spicy in Cat 4. Yeah, Joe is still off the front. Maybe 5 seconds, and that's where we're thinking, uh-oh. He gets caught, obviously, but it said on his thing he had his best 5-minute PR, so that was probably those last couple of laps he was just hammering. And here's the unfortunate spot. See this Manitoba kid in front of me in the yellow? He gets shoved off into the side, and I kind of had to stop. And then there's that guy. So there's my sprint power right there. That's my sprint. Is making sure that that gap doesn't open up. But, now I don't have really the legs moving into this last half lap. I'm real glad that that kid did not crash. He managed to save it, but his bike is probably all messed up from everything that went on today. And there was not the opportunity to jump it here on this lap. And because of that little scuffle on that back half, there is no one behind me. And I let this gap go. And I saw them all going. And there was no one behind me. And I was like, man, I'm not going to put in an extreme effort to stay in the same space. I should have stayed on the blue and green jersey, the guy that was right in front of me, because he ends up placing 10 in front of me. So he had the sprint left. I did not. So there's my race rolling in nice and slow. Yeah, almost had a great spot, just being a little more aggressive with when I'm choosing to kind of shoot up, get a better spot at these last laps is what I can do to improve moving forward. My lines definitely aren't the best, but I think
3 out of 5 races so far I get caught behind an almost or crash.
It is true.
This is my first Cat 4 race, right? it's different.
God damn, it's different.
It is
doing
different
some-
than Cat 4.
Avoiding that shit I unclipped on that little.
Yeah, I'm glad that the Manitoba kit didn't wipe out, but like, now I have to sprint right before the sprint. Oh well.
I cut myself off. Yeah, but moving forward, are my lines the best on these turns? No. But if I'm able to keep that speed coming into it and not really lose any spots too often, maybe I will just keep going wide in this group. Just stay outside of all of the brake squeezers. Yeah, that was Lombard. Numbers are on the screen right now, probably. I will be hosting a collegiate teammate of mine, so for these next couple of races, and I'm not going to sit and edit these videos on my computer while he's at my house every day, so I will be doing the rest of the series, but the rest of the series will be showing up in like maybe 3 or 4 days later than Lombard, so stay tuned for those.